Throughout this story, we've been introduced to numerous antagonists, all of whom have plotted to rule the world in some shape or form. From Crocodile wanting to obtain the ancient weapon on Alabasta, to Doflamingo being the puppet master behind the scenes of Dressrosa. But one story still remains to be completed. The wailing cries of a creature who lost not only the smiles he would use to bolster his army, but one of the main cards in his deck being the Joker. He reveres strength and aims to start the greatest war the planet has ever seen. But why? Maybe to carry on the will of a man he once looked up to? Who knows? The isolation of Wano was the perfect stepping stone to his plan. With no interference from the world government and the shogun under his thumb, he heeded time to increase the strength of his army. But Wano also gave him more purpose, his path to a meaningful death. Encountering the samurai, Wano changed his perspective, from wanting to cause a war to also admiring the way of the samurai and the determination they had. Death before dishonor. This was no empty slogan for the samurai. For a creature who pursued strength and wasn't too stubborn to recruit the strong, he enjoyed the tough battles he endured. The smile on his face would grow as he faced down the strong adversaries that stood in his way. As he grew his army behind the scenes of Wano, he was finally faced with the toughest task. To continue his path to the top, he had to go through the man who was made to boil. Odin, wielding his two swords, Amo no Habakiri and Enma, along with his retainers, finally came to strike down the dragon who had tainted their country and tortured their people. The battle raged on between the fool of a lord and the strongest creature in the world. As the climax was upon them, the greatest dishonor the creature could face dawned upon the battlefield. Having struck down the lord, he was pleased with the outcome before realizing the great battle he had endured was dilapidated by the witch Higurashi. Knowing that he still had to send out the lord, he told him that he got rid of the witch and that they will speak of his spectacular death after having witnessed a true hour of legends. The thoughts of the creature became skewed that day. With the scar that would remain and also throb to remind him of his dishonor, he looked to the future. The strong live and the weak die. That is the only rule of the world. The creature would then go on to roam the planet looking for a place to die. For once he was at the top, but no more. He would talk about the ones he admired, Rodger and Whitebeard, the strong pirates who died, the pirates who did it right. The creature spoke the words, that it may not be the times anymore, but death is what completes the person. Having lost his chance at an honorable death, he would drink himself under and take up the hobby of trying to kill himself, but to no avail. His encounter with the samurai didn't end there. When faced with Ashura Doji, he heard the words again, a meaningful death, an honorable one, something he sought but could never grasp. He was prepared to die, for only a person who is prepared to die is able to live a full life. His death poem. A death poem is one written by a person in the last moments of his life. This poem is the accumulation of a life of events and emotions, and that, as such, is the essence of the person. Unable to kill himself, he pushed forward his plan to start the greatest war. Having executed the shogun in front of the samurai, he tested their loyalty, willing to even praise them if they remained loyal and fought him to the end. A stoic creature who not only found joy in battle, but joy in despair, smiling at the thoughts of betrayal among pirates, smiling going into battle to face the new generation, smiling at the presence of a boy who appeared in front of him, daring to challenge his might. He would laugh, holding on to the burden of his past, and now carrying the burden of Onigashima to the future. He enjoyed the power, and enjoyed the struggle. He was the true embodiment of the phrase, engage in combat fully determined to die, and you will be alive. Seeming to always be ready to perish, he jumps into combat always confident in winning, for if someone was able to take his life, he would be pleased. He remains atop the strongest in the world, but aims to find ecstasy in the battles to come. With the son that wants to kill him, the samurai who wants to take his head, and a raid trying to stop his war, he bellows his laugh, welcoming the challenge. When put under the guillotine, the blade cracked. When hanged, the chain snapped. When skewered, the spear broke. No one was able to kill him, not even himself. Land, sea, and air, if it is 1-on-1, always bet on him. His name is Kaido, king of the beasts, the strongest creature in the world.